Welcome to Adaptive Humanity. So we're about 7 days on the road now. Brand new RV. What can go wrong?
You're about to find out.
Welcome back. This is Adaptive Humanity.
Where we dare you to adventure beyond your limitations.
So, we got the new RV. Everything was great. Picked it up. Stayed the night at the place where we bought it. Give it a shakedown. Sleep in it. See if there's anything wrong. Thought we found a couple things wrong. And we were good. No. So, first thing that happened. Number one on our list is the radio. Okay, so I get it. You don't get the best radio in something that you buy. It comes with brand new cars and everything. Aftermarket's always the way to go. But I would not expect it to go black on my way home. But it did. So when I told them about it, they said, all right, well, we could tighten it up. You know, we'll try to get it fixed. And no, that didn't happen either. The dash is hollow, so there's nothing to hold the radio bracket. So I get home, I MacGyver it, and I build a support box in there to hold the radio and everything. And I get it hooked up, try the cameras, and the cameras are really like lousy quality. The rear view camera and the two side cameras. So I dig my head underneath the dash and I see it's got 5-pin connectors for the cameras. Why are they so bad? Well, it's because that radio doesn't take camera connections. It's a single VGA cord from the 1980s. So, that went. The radio had to go. So, Coachmen, take note. You put Jensen TVs through the whole thing. This is a Jensen radio. Relatively cheap. 10 inches, just like your other one. But it works. And the cameras are phenomenal. They're crystal clear when they're plugged into individual camera ports. So this thing's cool. I love it, and so much better than the other one. And we also switched out the speakers, and I know she appreciates that.
And by we, he really means him.
Well, no, it was we. I made the mess. She cleaned it. They're styrofoam in the ceiling, and when you cut styrofoam, it's like a freaking magnet. So I did all that, and then said, I don't know what happened. So after having it set up in the driveway for a few days, moving the slide in and out, checking things out, all of a sudden Amber goes, hey, what's this? And as you can see here, there is a hole in the weather stripping that goes around the main slide right next to the refrigerator. So I was like, well, I don't know. So I go over and I take a look, and the weather stripping is off and tucked into the track. And it's because they put the wiring harness, instead of running it down the frame where it's supposed to go, they ran it out of the frame early because they made the wiring harness too short. So it pushes the weather stripping off. There's nothing for it to click in. Weather stripping gets stuck in the track, rips a friggin' 2-inch hole in it. So, yeah. We called the RV place, said, hey, we need this fixed. And we got, we'll see you in 3 weeks. No. We show up at the dealership because we had ordered a Splendid E.
Splendide?
Yeah. We'll call it Splendid for now. Combo washer dryer unit. So we figured we'd just put one in instead of a separate washer and dryer. That way we keep more cabinet space for our clothes and whatnot. So we go and pick that up, and I'm installing that myself. So the guys bring it out from the warehouse area, bring it out to the RV. And I said, well, thank guys, appreciate it. And they said, well, let us put it up in the RV for you because it's awkward and heavy. And I said, oh, okay. So they put it into the RV, and as you can see here, you don't twist a washing machine on a vinyl floor because it rips.
Fun fact.
Yeah. So don't, when you get it set down on the floor, don't do this. Because if you do this happens. And So that the guy said, real apologetic about it. So sorry, oh my God, can't believe that happened. Let me go tell my boss what happened. Comes back out. Now this is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep, we hit the road on a Saturday. And he comes out and says, my boss says, so sorry, but we don't have anybody until Monday to fix your floor. Well, we already have campgrounds booked.
Yeah.
We have trips booked.
We were leaving that day, I think.
Yeah, we were pulling out on Saturday. I was putting that in, and as soon as I got the washing machine in,
we were out.
We were headed to the first place, so we didn't really have time to wait around. So again, I guess I'll get it fixed later. Sounds good to me. So headed down the road, pull into our fourth place that we were staying at, and go around behind the RV to start doing all the hookups.
And Matt looks at me and is like, does anything look different back here?
Yeah.
And yup, we done lost our license plate.
So my first intuition was this thing fell off.
Yeah.
It had to have been hit. It just fell off. They didn't put the screws in all the way or something. And then
all the roads were bumpy.
Right,
really
yeah. I mean,
bumpy.
it was the worst roads in history getting there because we took all like the little back roads and everything, so it was all like washboarded.
Yeah.
Worded. So I'm like, yeah, it fell off. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? That means 2 bolts literally had to work their way loose and fall off. And probably, I don't know, it's probably like what, a 50-mile stretch or so from the last place that we were at that I could have swore the license plate was on there. Because I go back there and I check, we have a bike rack on the back, I go back and check the bike rack and I could have swore it was on there. I would have noticed if it was missing. So then, after a lot of thought,
mental investigation.
Yeah. So there was a half-naked guy at this winery that we stopped at for the night, part of Harvest Host, and they pulled in with his family, and it was a half-naked guy,
half-naked baby.
Yeah, half-naked children. When we say half-naked, dude was not even wearing just like shorts. He was rolling around in his boxers. All right, so.
Boxer briefs.
Yes. Yeah. You know.
Whatever.
Next
Living
level.
his best life.
So anyway, we think that they stole our license plate.
They parked for a very limited amount of time. They didn't even spend the night. They just like parked. I saw them eat. I saw everybody that came out of there was half naked.
Yeah.
And they were walking around a lot.
And I mean, it's part of like the Harvest Host stops that you can make. And
typically spend the night.
Right, and everybody spends the night. So I don't even think he had anything to do with Harvest Host. I think he was just there to jack our plate.
Maybe.
And steal some water.
And
throw out the garbage. And let his naked children run free through the vineyards.
And we had a wine tasting, so, you know.
Yeah, we took a nap. We were sleeping, not gonna lie. Wine tasting, 5 different wines, and no food the whole day. Yeah, we took a nap. So the license plate was stolen. General RV did hook us up though, and they overnighted us a new license plate because our paperwork hadn't hit the DMV yet because there was an issue with the DMV paperwork. So huge shout out to them because they actually, in the long run, by not filing the paperwork right or something, it saved us because we were able to get a whole new registration, and they overnight it. And if you see somebody running around with a license plate that's Pew 37, PEAW 37, knock on their door and
or
be
just
like,
take it.
Steal it back. Steal it back. $100 to somebody that steals my license plate back.
Yeah. Last seen in Rome, Georgia.
Yes. So $100.
Excuse you. Just gotta lick his back foot. Just give him a minute. We'll be done. Stop!
At the same park in which we figured out our license plate was missing, Amber's doing laundry. Great. Awesome. Washing machine works okay. And I'm outside, and I was doing, I don't remember what I was doing, but I'm outside, and I'm on the same side in which the dryer vent comes out and everything, where the washing machine's mounted. And all of a sudden I see water trickling out of the wheel well. I get rain. But what's going on? So I stick my hand underneath there, and it's kind of like frothy.
A bit soapy.
And I can hear the washing machine going, like the slight little knocking, and I'm like, oh shit. So I come running back in.
He's like, turn it off! Like, what?
What actually happened was the gray tank sensor went bad. So, and my bad too, because I had the gray tank closed. And I had the gray tank closed because I was messing with the lines outside. That's why I was out there. So I had the gray tank closed, but it was empty. The tank was empty. No, the tank was full. So it overflowed out of the drain for the washing machine, and it went all over. Like, all over. Cool part is we were able to take the bottom of the thing out back there where it is and dry up the water and everything. There was no water damage done. It literally ran across the linoleum, and we found out that there was no sealant on the inside of the coach or the outside of the coach, right where that meets and goes into the welt, because it's a clear shot. It goes across the linoleum and out. They never sealed the floor. So that's on my list of things now to fix.
Yay. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, or whenever there's a bad situation, there's always a little something good, like if they didn't mess up on the registration, and then if you weren't outside.
Still sucks. Speaking about our wonderful washer-dryer combo, now the thing does work well.
Yeah, for what it is, it works just fine, I think.
Right. On a positive note, it's a multi-purpose machine. So not only will it wash and dry your clothes, but it also produces sandpaper. So if you have any rough spots around the coach, or you just generally anything you need sandpaper for, throw a towel in, wash it, dry it. Don't put any liquid fabric softener, and you're good to go. It's about 90 grit, 80 grit sandpaper. Works great. I mean, women go crazy over it. Exfoliates like nothing else. Calluses on the feet, gone.
Homemade.
So speaking about water and the lines outside, so they put outside showers on these things. A lot of people have them. They're wonderful. But I think they need to change the labeling on them to what they really are. I have found out that they're not an outside shower. Water pressure really doesn't come out of them enough to shower with. What they're for is to wash the shit off your hands. That's what it's for. For when you're trying to disconnect lines and you think that the water's running clear, and then you unhook them and it pukes it back on your hands. That is the utensil you use to wash that off your hands. So let's relabel it. It is the outside sanitation washdown. It is no longer an outside shower.
Is that the...
Automatic leveling systems are awesome. Pull in, hit the e-brake, hit the button, it does its thing, good to go. Well,
they're even greater when they work.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's supposed to be set out of the factory, and when we spent our night over in the parking lot, we had him check out the leveling system because it was just flashing. The whole thing was just flashing at us, and he said that the angle of the parking lot was a little too steep right there, so it wouldn't auto level correctly. So, okay, no problem. And it did work in the driveway at the house, and I never really paid attention to it. We never spent the night when we were in the driveway in the house. Really. So we really didn't spend a lot of time in it, just loading things in and out. We're laying there, and Amber asked me,
"Are we a little dipped towards that way?" Just, it felt off. But then what did we put on the ground? We put a couple things on the ground to see if they'd roll. But they didn't roll.
No, they didn't roll from a standstill. But if you took the dog's ball and gave it a little bump, it didn't just roll a little bit and then stop. It just kept going. So I'm trying to figure this thing out, and I'm looking on YouTube, and I'm searching the interwebs, and I'm like, how do I reprogram this thing to recognize level? So after, I don't know, 4 hours of trying to figure this thing out, I finally call, one moment, LCI. And I say, listen, this is what I have, and this is my problem. So he's like, well, hit this button 5 times, hit this button 5 times, everything flashes at you, take a level, put it on the floor, level it out, and then just hit the auto raise on it, and you're good to go. So I said, well, you're telling me to hit it 5 times while it's on, but it only goes into programming mode when I do it 10 times when it's off. Well, what kind of system do you have? So I don't know. It's yours. It was installed on this. And he was like, what's the screen say? And I said, well, there is no screen. He said, well, there should be. I said, well, what do you mean there should be? He was like, well, you have a one-touch program. So the one-touch has a digital screen, and then you hit enter on the screen. I said, well, no.
Actually.
So he goes, let me call you back. I got to call some people about this. Let me call you back. So I said, okay, great. About an hour later, he calls me back and goes, all right, so I figured out a shortcut that should work. And the reason you have to do this shortcut is because they put the wrong leveling system, the control system, in your coach. You're not supposed to have that control system with this keypad. It doesn't work.
Somebody had one job.
Yep.
Literally one job.
Yep. And they failed.
Fired.
So I did call Coachmen about it. Coachmen confirmed it's the wrong control unit. They don't even know how it got in there. They were like, we don't even install those on anything that we sell. So we don't know how that got there. And they're gonna fix it. They're gonna take care of it. But what the hell?
Yeah.
Another thing is, no idea what's going on with the airbag suspension. Got to figure that one out. And the problem is you got your parked. The actual scenario is we're stopped at a rest stop to fill up, and we get done. I pull the e-brake off, and I sit there for a little while. I raise the airbag suspension, and I usually wait about a minute or so because they say it's 45-second fill rate on the suspension. So I wait.
We definitely wait a little longer.
Yeah.
But then we start going, and
Yep.
then it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what?
for some reason, the fronts don't decide to inflate sometimes, and
It's awful noise.
yeah, you pull out somewhere and you hit a pebble and it's pow, like you just freaking smashed a tree.
It sounds like the generator bangs on the ground, it's bouncing and jamming into the concrete.
It is
Awful.
And there's no scrape marks underneath. We weren't bottoming out. It's just literally the suspension is bottomed out. You have no suspension, so it's just yeah.
Definitely cannot be good for it.
No. So we got to figure that one out.
Not only do things break on your coach, but they also break on your person.
Like a tooth. And I'm blaming it on the air suspension. It was completely the air suspension's fault. I mean, that thing hit so hard it popped my teeth right out. So yeah, I broke a tooth, broke a molar. So I broke a tooth, and then it's like, all right, now what do you do when you break a tooth? Because you can't go to your normal dentist. You're not at home. So I start calling dentists. No. You know how hard it is to get a dentist appointment last minute, especially during COVID? It is next to impossible. How many did I call?
5, 10,
Yeah.
20,
No.
15,
We'll go with
70.
We'll go with 10. 10. Well, all right, 70 sounds good. So after calling a bunch of places, and now mind you, we are in the armpit of Florida, about to go into the
Georgia.
hairy part, which is Georgia. There's not many options for dentists. So after a whole bunch of phone calls, shout out to Thomasville Dentistry. They got me in right away, got in, fixed the tooth up. It was an old filling that I had when I was a kid. It was
freak accident.
It was junk, and the filling ended up falling out or whatever. But they did a good job. They hooked me up. A couple hours later, we were back on the road and relatively pain-free. I got a little sore, but the next day I was good to go. And we did leave there and go straight to drinking wine. So that may have helped with the pain. What we ran into the other problem is that our dog normally travels in the car great. No problem. I mean, you put keys in your hand and he's out the door wanting to go. And not
but
so
not
much
in the RV.
Yeah.
He liked it in the driveway. It was all good because it was like another house, right? So, but then when the house also moves and makes noises and does this, he don't like it so much.
Yeah, when that happens, you need to vomit and do this all the time
and not eat, but still manage to keep throwing up.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's possible.
Absolutely no sense.
So what do? You would normally call the vet, right? That's great. But your vet isn't around. So you can't, speaking of the devil.
Fighting me.
So your vet's not around. So then there's this thing called televet, which is fantastic if your vet participates in it. So ours doesn't. Not good. We ended up talking to somebody from it was a like
an e-vet.
Yeah, it was an e-vet, but at distance. So they do it via FaceTime. You call in, it's $30 for the appointment. They do everything over the phone, and as long as you don't need a narcotic med called in, they take care of everything. Unfortunately, he was leaning towards needing a narcotic med to be able to call in. But what she did do is, because we were giving him Benadryl, and
only one.
Yeah, 1 milligram per pound is what was recommended on my doctoring on the interwebs. But so that was only one pill. After talking with this vet on the app, which I'll put the name right there, we found out that we can give him 2. We gave him 2 Benadryl. We hit the road, and wow, it was magic. It stopped. The dog was cured.
Actually, since then, I don't think he's had. I think there was one time we moved without giving him Benadryl that
he was
morning.
fine.
Perfectly fine. I think there was one little.
Yeah.
Out of the whole journey.
I think it chilled him out enough that he could realize that during the trip it was good. So then after that, he finally started to pick up that he was alright.
Oh, I'm not in danger.
Even with everything that happened in our first 7 days, it's actually been an adventure still. It's still been fun. I haven't been wanting to quit. It's been a little frustrating. But I think we've handled everything pretty well. We did talk to Coachmen. Coachmen was fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very understanding.
They were. And, I told them, I said, we're going to be up there anyway. We're doing basically a review. Not really a review. We're going to be taking a look at some Class A's that come out right off the assembly line from a specific manufacturer that we'll mention later. That are fully handicap accessible right out the gate for a wheelchair. Wheelchair lifts, hand controls, everything, whole 9 yards. So I mentioned we were going to be in his neighborhood anyway, and he said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you guys come up here, and we'll give you guys a factory tour, show you around, and in the meantime, while we're doing that, you just make a list, everything that's wrong with the coach, we'll go through and we'll fix it all for you while we're giving you a tour, and get you back on the road. So we are taking them up on that offer.
We got a list.
Yes, which is growing. Every day.
Rapidly.
Yes. So we're going to do that. They, like I said, they've been great. General RV was really good about getting us, our license plate fiasco figured out. Remember, $100 if you get my plate back. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe.
Share it! Share it with your friends!
And hit that bell so that way we come out with a new video, you get notified. We'll see you next time.
Bye.